Hey everyone, and welcome! Today we are going to dive into one of the biggest challenges in the data world. How do you stop your data transformations from becoming a total mess? We're going to walk through DBT's core workflow to see how you can build a data pipeline that's not just powerful, but also clean, reliable, and easy to understand. Let's get right into it. So, I want you to picture your current data pipelines. Are they this beautiful, clear roadmap that anyone on your team can pick up and follow? Or are they more like a tangled web of scripts and dependencies that, maybe only one person really understands? That is the exact problem DBT was built to solve. We're going to break down how it takes you from that chaos to total clarity. So, here's our game plan. We'll start with the absolute basics, models. These are your building blocks. Then, we'll see how to add tests to make sure your data is trustworthy and docs to explain what it all means. Then the magic happens when we see how this all comes together in something called the DAG. And finally, we'll talk about how you can actually put that DAG to work. All right, first up, let's talk about the absolute foundation of any DBT project, and that is the model. Seriously, everything you're going to build starts right here. So what exactly is a DBT model? You might think it's some new complicated thing you have to learn, but it's just a SQL file. That's it. The whole idea is that if you can write a select statement, and you can, then you already know how to build a DBT model. Each file does one specific job. It transforms your data into a clean, useful table or view. Simple as that. And look at this. This is a perfect example of how simple it is. This right here, this is a complete DB model. It's just selecting a few columns from another table. But you see that funky part? With the double curly braces and the ref function? That is where the magic really starts. And this function, ref, is the absolute secret sauce. Instead of hard-coding your table names and, praying you run all your scripts in the right order, you just ref another model. That's it. DBT sees that ref and automatically figures out all the dependencies, building a graph so it knows exactly what to run and when. This one little function completely gets rid of manual orchestration. It's a game changer. Okay, so you've transformed your data, but is it actually correct? How do you know you can trust it? Building that trust is just as critical as the transformation itself, and that, my friends, is where tests come in. The concept behind DBT tests is actually pretty brilliant. You're not writing a query to find good data. You're writing a SQL query specifically to find the bad records, the mistakes. So a test for uniqueness will hunt for any duplicate IDs. If that query comes back with 0 rows, it means it found no mistakes, and boom, the test passes. It's all about catching errors before they cause problems downstream. Now, DBT gives you two main ways to write tests. For your really custom, one-of-a-kind business logic, you can write what's called a singular test in its own SQL file. But for all the common stuff, and this is what you'll use most of the time, you have generic tests. These are reusable checks like unique or not null that you can apply all over the place with just a couple lines of code. And check out how easy it is to actually use these generic tests. In a simple configuration file, a YAML file, you just say, hey, for my orders model, the order ID column needs to be unique and not null. And that is it. With just these few lines, you've added super important data quality checks that will run for you automatically. It's so powerful. Okay, so our data is transformed, it's tested, it's reliable. What's next? Well, we need to make sure other people can actually find it and understand what you've built. It's all about telling your data story through documentation. And why is this so important? Well, because you're not building these models in a vacuum, right? You're building them for other people, for analysts, for data scientists, for business users. Good docs are the bridge that connects them to your work, making your data discoverable, understandable, and truly valuable to the whole organization. And here's the best part. You add this documentation right in the same file where you added your tests. You just add a description key for your models and your columns and write a little something. It's so easy, and it embeds that knowledge right into your project so it never gets lost or out of date. So once you've written all these great descriptions, how does anyone see them? It's just two simple commands. You run dbt docs generate, which compiles everything into a website, and then dbt docs serve, which launches that website right on your machine. Instantly, you have this beautiful, searchable data catalog for your entire project. Okay, this is the moment where it all clicks. We've built models, we've linked them together with ref, we've added tests, we've added docs. Now we get to see the big picture. The full visual lineage of our entire data pipeline. So DBT takes all of those ref functions that you wrote and automatically builds this incredible visual map of your project. This map is called a Directed Acyclic Graph, or what everyone just calls the DAG. And honestly, the best way to think of it is as a family tree for your data. It shows you exactly how every single piece connects to every other piece, all the way from the raw sources to the final outputs. And the DAG doesn't just show you your models. Oh no, it shows you everything. You can see your raw data sources, your SQL transformations, the tests you've applied, and even how that data gets used downstream in things like dashboards, which DBT calls exposures. It is a true end-to-end view of your data universe. Now, having a cool-looking graph is nice, but the real power of the DAG is in what it lets you do. So let's pivot from what the DAG is to how you can actually put it to work every single day. This is where the DAG becomes your absolute best friend. A business user asks, hey, where does this number come from? The DAG shows you the entire lineage. You need to change a column in a model? The DAG shows you exactly which dashboards and reports are going to be affected before you break them. And when a test fails, the DAG is your roadmap for tracing the problem back to its source. It's indispensable. Now, I mentioned exposures earlier, and they are such a cool concept for completing that lineage story. An exposure is where you explicitly define a downstream use of your data. This is how you connect the dots between an internal data model you built and the actual business intelligence dashboard that the CEO looks at every Monday. And you define these right in your project's configuration files, just like tests and docs. You give the exposure a name, a type like dashboard, and then most importantly, you use the ref function again to link it to the specific models it depends on. You can even drop a URL in there, making your DAG a clickable map that can take you straight to the report. So, to wrap this all up, here are the key takeaways, the things you can really try out today. Number 1, always use ref to link your models. Second, add unique and not underscore null tests to every primary key, no exceptions. Third, document as you go. Don't wait till the end. Fourth, always use the DAG to see the impact of your changes. And finally, keep your project organized into layers like staging and marts. It'll keep your DAG from becoming a mess. And that really brings us to our final question. Every single data pipeline tells a story, from raw, messy data all the way to a critical insight. By building clear models, adding robust tests, and documenting it all in a visual DAG, you're not just moving data around, you are authoring that story. So the real question is, are you making it a clear, compelling bestseller that everyone wants to read? Thanks for watching.